Hi, I'm the Nomad Producer with StartProducingMusic.com. I found this beautiful toilet in the middle of nowhere, and it inspired me to do a series of videos about how to deal with crappy sources. Welcome to part 2. You can trigger different samples coming from different parts of the music world to create this one great sounding kick. You can take a very subby EDM kick, for example, and have that help you with the very low frequencies that the original kick is lacking. You can also trigger room sounds, click sounds, or anything at all. And again, the way you'll figure out what it is that you need is by thinking before you just start searching for kick samples. When we're talking about crappy sources, many of the times the problem will be phase. So make sure phase relationships are good. Take your bass drum channel, put it next to the overhead and see how they interact. If there's a need, drag the overhead slightly backwards and get their phase relationships working better together. See what impact that has over the low end of the kick when it hits. Saturation again will be very useful when you have crappy sounding bass drums. So I'll demonstrate using the decapitator because it's super popular. Let's just start playing around with this crappy bass drum and see where we get to. Oh, I like this. This is really cool. And if I put an EQ before this and push the low frequencies into the distortion, this is what happens. So without anything. If you received a crappy sounding tom, I guess the best practice will be to trigger a different sample. If you didn't receive a tom track and you do want to create a closed mic channel, then you can use the same trick I talked about in the snare, in which you use a noise gate with filters that will trigger audio only when the tom hits. If that doesn't work well enough, duplicate the overhead track and go through the whole channel editing only the tom hits and then insert a trigger. That will give you a lot of freedom in mixing and will definitely help your overall drum sound. After you have done everything I've recommended, your drums will turn from this to this. So to sum the crappy drum sources, duplicating and gating channels will be very useful if you are missing channels to work with. Saturation and compression will be of great use, and don't be afraid to trigger samples from different parts of the music world. Use your ears as guides and try to think what it is that you're trying to achieve before you do any action. I hope this was useful for you. Comment below if you have any other cool technique you want to share. Subscribe if you want to see more cool content, and I'll see you in the next Dealing with Crappy Sources video.